All right, as we were talking about top of the program, the third GOP presidential primary debate took place last night in Miami, Florida. And just as in the previous two debates, the candidates squared off without the frontrunner, as former President Donald Trump again declined to participate. He had his own event down in Florida, not too far from the debate. Now, this third debate comes just a day after Ohio voters passed Issue 1, which legalizes abortion all the way to the moment of birth in the state's constitution. Now, this is a big contrast to the laws in Ohio at present. Now, the debate last night, I think, offered Republican candidates the opportunity to react to the narrative of the legacy media that the media is pushing to scare Republicans out of promoting the sanctity of human life. So how did they respond? Did they take the opportunity to communicate a pro-life message? Well, joining me now to discuss this, Meg Kilgannon, Senior Fellow for Education Studies at the Family Research Council. She served in the Department of Education during the Trump administration. Meg, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thanks, Tony.
So the legacy media wants to create instant analysis of who won and who lost last night. But let's talk about how the candidates handled the issue of protecting life, especially coming just a day after Issue 1 passed Ohio, making it the 7th state that has put abortion into the state's constitution or restricted pro-life laws. So did we see a difference between the candidates last night?
We did. I watched that segment of the debate about 3 times today to get ready for our talk right now, and I got to tell you, I felt like I was more confused the more I listened about what was a cohesive pro-life message from the Republican Party or from any one candidate. I mean, they were just all over the map, and I really feel like it shouldn't be that hard as long as Republicans have had the pro-life issue as, you know, the definitive platform of the party. And pretty much, if you're not pro-life, you're not going to get the nomination, right? To have that display on stage was really quite something.
So what's changed in terms of the issue of the sanctity of life, the desire to protect the unborn and women post-Roe? I mean, why do we see now politicians that are stumbling over themselves when before there was great clarity?
Well, before, you know, when we were still operating under the false idea that there's a constitutional right to an abortion, which of course there is not and there cannot be, then it's easy to say that you're pro-life and not really have to be very specific about it, right? Because it's not really an available option to you. So now that it matters, candidates are struggling, and you're finding out who has consistent pro-life values that are based on maybe a larger worldview, a faith tradition, some real meaning to them, rather than just, oh, that's what I have to say if I want to be Republican, and so okay, I'll say I'm pro-life. You could see a range on the stage, and then you have people who have said they're consistently pro-life, and maybe they have voted pro-life or supported pro-life policies, and yet they are in the face of recent electoral challenges for the issue. They're sort of walking it back or rethinking it or wondering if this is still what we should be doing as a party. And so we shouldn't be leaving that much wiggle room. This is what we should still be doing as a party, right?
Let's kind of go down the list. There's 5 candidates. You know, it's like musical chairs. It seems like every time we go to a new debate, the music is stopped and we lose one. So from what I heard from Governor DeSantis, it doesn't seem like he's equivocating. It sounds like he's talking about creating a culture of life. He's got a record.
He did.
So
he did.
Give me your take on him.
He did, but having signed a 6-week bill, he certainly didn't mention that he did that, and he seemed open to some sort of compromise on that point. I didn't hear any of them really use the term baby. when they were talking about it, which was interesting to me. But I thought his life was probably, of all the answers, one of the better ones. But I don't really want to hear about adults necessarily when I'm talking about when they're talking about this issue. I'd like to hear about the unborn child that we're protecting.
You know, what's amazing about that to me, Meg, is that that's the conversation that we've been having for 4 decades. It's about the unborn child, and for some reason, I don't know if it's the media that's driving this narrative. You know, and they're scared, they're responding to it. I don't really expect that from DeSantis because he's got such a great record on the life issue as governor. And I think past performance is the best indicator of future performance based on my quarter of a century in politics. Let's talk about South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. You know, she declared, I'm unapologetically pro-life, but then she gets into this thing, don't judge me for being pro-life and I won't judge you. I mean, who's judging? We're talking about laws.
Yeah, her answer, I think, was the most confusing and frankly offensive of any of the candidates. I just really did not enjoy her answer. I mean, saying that we need to make sure abortion is or contraception is accessible. I mean, are we going to pay for that too?
And what about her comment?
Since when is it not?
Her comment about putting mothers, given the death penalty. I mean, I missed that somewhere. I mean, this is the talking points of the left.
Exactly. And to call the pro-life base of the Republican Party to make them seem like we're some sort of ogres or somehow we're the you know, that we have to be managed or I don't know what the point of that is. It was really disingenuous.
So Tim Scott, give me, before we run out of time, Tim Scott. He embraced the pain bill that Lindsey Graham is introducing. At the point of child feels pain, sucking its thumb, we should have that should be the bare minimum of protection across the nation. He did.
I have heard him speak more eloquently about life, but he did say that at the debate last night.
All right. Well, we'll have to leave Governor Christie, who is pretty weak on this.
Yes.
Well, I guess he's okay, but he's still weak. And Vivek, he's just, depends on the day of the week.
Right.
He did have a good statement last night on the life issue.
Did.
So he did last night. But never know where he may be. Meg Kilgannon, great to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Tony.